Oh, thank you, God. It felt like I just got off the toilet taking a dump. I can finally talk about Widows Uncut. This is your boy Carcino here, and welcome back to Screen Fiend as I'm finna to scream at this movie here. Widows is a movie that was basically Steve McQueen, who made the movie Moonlight, his next project. This was his big reveal. Steve McQueen, ever since Moonlight won that year with the big controversy, they were like, what would be next? Now we see what's next, don't we? We got this to deal with, and all the crap that comes with it. This movie was very well directed. It had Colin Farrell, had a whole list of actors in it and actresses, as it's mainly centered around the wives of these guys who did this job, and all the guys died. Liam Neeson was one of the husbands, and he's with Viola Davis, and she lost her husband, and now the guy said, your husband tried to steal $2 million from us, which Daniel Kaluuya plays like the brother of the hitman that's in the streets moving these drugs. His brother wants another life. He wants to run for politics, get in office, and get the kickbacks. And now I had nobody shooting at him. That's what he wants to do. Now, I did a movie review for this because it was at the Chicago International Film Festival months ago. No one told me I couldn't do a review on the movie. So I did it, and nobody else did it, and I'm like, uh-oh, I might be in trouble. But nobody said nothing, so I guess it was what it was. Plus, they didn't probably like my review anyway. Now, let's get into the grease. What's wrong with this picture? The ending. Okay, first off, the reality of this situation is ludicrous. Okay, and 6 days, you're gonna get three of the people who are most obviously not equipped to pull any of this off. In 6 days, they're gonna plan a heist, breaking into somebody's safe, getting the money out, and it's like, really? Getting the money out, taking it out the safe, and moving along and doing what it is that you do, right? You got Daniel Kaluuya, who you got to pay $2 million to him and his crew, you know, and this makes no sense to me. Like, they're gonna go do this thing and pay them $2 million. The job was for $5 million. And then they're going to do this. So the job goes wrong instantly when I'm like, they didn't account for this when they was talking about doing the job. So they break into the house, you know, to do the job. But she already finds out by going to one lady's house. She's not really too much concerned about her husband dying, because she's messing around with Liam Neeson and got a baby with him. He faked his own death. Surprise. In case you didn't know, this is a super spoiler version, and the title's gonna tell you. So he faked his own damn death. So I'm like, okay, this ought to be pretty good. You know, I kind of saw something crazy happening like this from the point of the explosion, and when they said that they probably need DNA evidence. So I said, okay, somebody faking a death. You know, this is just me watching too many films. Not to say everybody should have picked up on that. That's just the experience of watching film. Now, moving right along, we have a situation now where they show bits and pieces. They kept doing flashback scenes. So you start to see the scene where the son had drove the wedge between Viola Davis and Liam Neeson, who were married and they were interracial, and their son was murdered driving their Mercedes on the road. He made a U-turn, and the cops didn't know what he was doing, and they just opened fire. He was trying to go in the glove compartment, and they just opened fire on him and killed him. So they never recovered from that. So he just went on and started a whole new family, faked his death. He said he tried to save us. It wasn't going to work, so he tried to save himself. So that being said, he's tied with the politician, I guess, who he's going to give some of the money to, and said, okay, I'm going to get this money to you, and then we'll be squared away, and that's that. And we can go ahead and do whatever it is that we need to do. Now, the $2 million he stole, I guess he used all that money to pay for all of the things he needed to get arranged for the guy at the fake morgue to say it was him and everything else. So she was left high and dry. And he wanted her to sell the book. Sell the book and be done with it. But she went ahead and did the job instead of selling the book, like she should have. And here's where the movie gets stupid. The ending comes around. They get the money. Daniel Kaluuya, one of the girls gets shot. Then they shoot the guy, the old father who was in there. So one of the girls is shot. The job is gone haywire. They didn't account for a maid or the dad being in the house. Like, poor spotty planning. They get the money. They come out. They got the driver. They get in the car. And Daniel Kaluuya character is there. He see them with all this money. He takes all the money and he's driving off in the car. They must have jumped in another car, hot-wired, we assume, because they ram him from behind with the van. He crashes the van into the wall, and he goes face first into the glass. And I guess he's dead. They open up the van, they take the money, throw it in the back of that car, and they're gone. So she got all the money to herself as everybody else gets dropped off or going to wherever they go. The other girl, she went with the other girl they took to the hospital who got shot. Okay, the other sister got dropped off. And then she goes there, and then Liam Neeson tries to get the money. They have a talk. She shoots Liam Neeson. And right after this, she burns the van. People start doing what they're going to do with their cuts of the money. She opens up a business. The other girl quits, but leaves a big sum of money to the girl who runs the shop she worked at, the beauty salon. As they driving off, they all get their little money, and they all go in their separate ways. Now, here's the thing. There was an election going on. Now it's saying that the other guy won the election. When he was ready to give up the election, he ends up winning the election. What happened to the $2 million she's supposed to pay back to the politician, the boss, the main guy who wanted the money, who approached her? Did she pay him the $2 million? What happened to him when he lost the election bid? Like, what's happening with that? We never get these answers. Never. So when you never get these answers, you're shaking your head like, huh? This doesn't make any sense now. Why we're not getting answers to these questions? These are the questions that need the answer, but we never get it. And that's where this movie fails. It fails in that department. Too much red tape. It's like, and this is just like with Moonlight. It just ends. And then you just left with an incomplete movie. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. What's going on here? So now, at the end of the movie, she finally comes out and she gives some of her money, Viola Davis, to have the school, the library, whatever, named after her son. And that's all she wanted, it seemed like, with the money. After she done paid everybody off, and now she's friends with everybody and saying hey and everything. It's really bizarre and dumb. And I'm like, they did not land this plane at all. The movie had a lot of promise, and they just did something really stupid with it. Really stupid. So now I'm thinking to myself, does this guy just don't know how to end a movie? I've seen directors do that. So they try to be too artsy with the film instead of ending it properly. The ending is, if you land that plane in the final act of the movie, then that's where it really connects. People shouldn't be leaving going, well, did she pay the guy? So that's my take on this movie, man. And that's where it disconnected with me. It's your boy Carcino, man. I'm out. And don't forget to subscribe to Screen Fiend.